Are you about to take a gulp? I see it in your eyes. Fine. Hello, lore heads, and welcome to the League, exploring the League of Legends lore from A to Z. My name is Rebecca.
And I'm John.
My name is Mark.
Today we're talking about the Eye of the Twilight Shen, who was released March 24th, 2010. Also, I'm in my PJs today.
Oh, cool.
It's comfy day.
I'm wearing my PJ bottoms. You don't see it. We could have gone the whole episode without knowing that, but I did not wear pants today, except, well, at least the ones... I didn't change my pants. The ones I slept in.
Just went pantsless
okay, Mark.
all day.
Yeah, whatever you want to... I'm naked. Winnie the Pooh in it over here.
I went into the office and they...
Fucking Donald Duck in it.
It's hot today, you know. I don't even blame you.
You know, I'll fucking tell you, man.
I like, John, you held up your leg like me too, as if you're not always wearing pajama pants.
Every day.
Literally always, every day.
What I wear to work every day.
Yeah. Anyway,
but yeah, I wanted to feel included.
What does Shen sound like, everybody? We just listened to him and it's already gone from my brain.
Well, remember, like someone said, just imagine what Shen sounds like, and there it is.
I find them unworthy. That was my best man voice. I'm sorry.
I loved it.
That's pretty good.
I can't get that deep.
With balanced steps.
Oh,
That's
shit.
good.
That was good.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't have a deep enough voice for this one either.
Nope.
From the shadows.
That was pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that's good.
It's about as best as your man voice.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Marry Mark then.
You didn't say anything about my man voice.
Sorry, you're just so good at the yordles, John. You can't have everything, okay? You can't be good at all of the impressions. You have Heimerdinger. What more do you need?
Yeah, that is true, right? That's like the crown jewel in your fucking, like,
right?
Here I am trying to prop you up.
Shen has a shit ton of stuff, not a shit. I mean, he may have... Everybody poops. But on the universe page, he has a bio, a video, Tales of Runeterra, Ionia, and 3 short stories and some old concept art. I always love when they have old concept art.
Also, is it a little too late to say Eye of the Toilet?
There you go. I like it. I think this concept art is not that old, because I think this is for his visual rework.
Okay.
But he looks fucking thick as hell.
He looks so
yes
thick. It's really funny. He's like a Final Fantasy VII version almost in one of them. Like the old little it's hilarious.
Yeah, we get a lot of different Shens over the years and over the mediums.
I don't know. He's just always got the same outfit on.
Yeah.
He does always have the same outfit on. Well, you know.
Well, no, sometimes. I mean, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes he takes off his mask and shit.
Sometimes he's naked.
No, he's not Darius.
No.
But...
Okay. I forgot about that shit.
Right? But yeah, I love it's like the second picture in the fan art thing, and I love it because it's like someone took, you know, like when you resize an image but just the X, and it's like,
he's just like
someone did this,
and you're like, oh fuck, how do I undo this? I'm never gonna look the same again. It's like that. All right, well,
turn the baby monitor off.
Oh, is the sound from the monitor on?
Yeah.
It's kind of loud. We had to crank the white noise because our cat wouldn't stop screaming in the hallway.
Well,
it's a little louder than usual.
You should give it what it wants.
It wanted to be in the room. It wanted to wake up the baby.
It wanted to steal the baby's breath.
Oh my god. That is what old people think that cats do. All right. Shen was a normal spirit boy in the mortal world. I was very confused at first, but once I started reading more about Shen, I understood a little bit more what they were talking about because the bio's really vague on it. But Shen's he's just a normal boy in Ionia, but he could see into the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Kind of. A little bit of both. Hang on. I had a whole paragraph of, am I an idiot? What is going on here? Because I just felt really bad about myself that I couldn't figure out like this first sentence. The whole first sentence of the bio, I was just lost. Anyway, His daddy, Great Master Kusho, was the Eye of the Twilight in the Kinko Order. We've talked about them a lot. Kinku. God, why did I write Kinko?
The Kinko Order. They'll get all your copies made. Don't even fucking worry about it.
The Kinku Order. I'm really goofing this one, y'all. I'm so sorry. This is why I'm in my jammies. This is where I'm at mentally today.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm going to move this away from your knee.
Oh,
it's very close, and I hear it rumble every time your knee hits it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Rumbles here. Shen trained alongside his bestie Zed, the only one who could rival him.
Ooh.
Etc. Yeah, they were eventually brought on to hunt a monster that turned out to be Jin. Kusho ordered Jin to be imprisoned. Shen and Zed thought that was a bit of a light punishment. Shen backed up his dad, though, while Zed got all pissy. And I don't blame him. Yeah.
Because, we see what happens.
Yeah. Seeing all, those dead, mutilated, bodies and finding out it was just, some guy probably messes you up.
Right? That's not even a demon. We can just kill this dude. It's fine.
Just a dude.
It's easy. Is it Shaco or what?
It's no, we can't kill him. It's no, we can't. Look, and you just look. I'll do this guy.
So
it's
easy.
real easy.
Oh shit, he's a champion. What happened?
Fuck.
Respawned in the fountain 30 seconds later.
Noxus invades. Zed wants to fight, but look, so many Ionians, Kusho was like, no, it's fine. Just hang out. It's gonna be okay. Zed left while Shen traveled to meditate on the road. One day he went back home and the place was wrecked and his father was dead as far as he knows, and it was all Zed's fault. Shen took his father's title as the Eye of the Twilight, gathered up the surviving Kinku to rebuild. I wrote it right that time. Noxus was pushed out of Ionia and Shen took on Akali for training around this time, or sometime, I don't know. Shortly after she took over her mother's role as the Fist of Shadow, she left saying that she did not support Shen's ways of sitting around, meditating,
chilling,
inaction,
hanging out.
Yeah, that's kind of where we leave him. He's feeling torn on what's right and whether or not he's cut out for this shit. I don't know if I want this job anymore.
Yeah, how we feeling? Well done.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They did. So, this story, if this was your introduction to the Kinku, which, Shen would be a good introduction to the Kinku, right?
You'd think so.
In his bio, they immediately just jump out with he knew the necessity of pruning the tree, the determination of coursing the sun, but above all, he learned the wisdom of watching the stars. And they do not fucking elaborate. We know what that means.
Kind of.
From other stories and shit.
Yeah.
But they just kind of put it out there.
Yeah, honestly. It had been a minute even. I was like, oh yeah, the pruning the tree and the coursing the... Yeah, I remember this. It's been fucking... God, Kennen, I think was the last time we were talking about this shit.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Yeah, you're right though. He should be... He's the guy. He's the Kinku dude. He should be the one who's here's the... Dude. You know what I would love, frankly? Because I think something we're going to run into, at least I ran into with Shen, is that he's all about balance, but what that means is so nebulous and never defined.
Right.
Yes, that's my problem.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That should be sentence one. That's some confusing riddle about whether or not he's a spirit boy or whatever. But
Thank you. It's not me, right? Was it just me? Okay.
Yeah, it means different things at different points.
Yes, which if
based on different people.
If that was more part of his lore, he's starting to not understand what balance means, then I think that would make sense. But I feel like that's not really what they're doing, at least not intentionally. I don't know.
I think it probably has to do with the fact that the bio was written by Michael Luo, True Neutral was written by John O'Brien, the Man with the Steel Cane was written by Odin Austin Schaefer. There's a lot of people contributing to what balance means for the Kinku, and maybe they're not all fully aligned.
Sure. Yeah. And I think Odin Austin Schaefer wrote the comic too. And which I guess makes sense because the steel cane is referenced in the comic anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to mention that as well, is that we've got a little issue of authors not... No one at Riot said, again, Riot, please, get them all in a room, get Mark and Brandon in there and just be like, okay, what is balance? Question mark.
A Mark and Brandon have to be involved in this.
Right.
I don't know. They need to
They retired 10 years ago. Just get them back in
wood.
here.
We got one more job. We got to figure out what the fuck balance means.
Every time we get out, they keep pulling us back in again.
They're just laying awake at 3 a.m. What is balance?
I mean, like you said, the idea of Shen grappling with that would be a more interesting turn for his character, and I think something else we'll see is that it feels like to me the comic stands so stark from the rest of the lore that would be more in line with how he's depicted in the comic, and I think that's a more interesting character and thing for him to be grappling with, rather than being like this smooth operator who's just like, I'm the Twilight guy and I got it, no problem. Not Robert Pattinson, but like,
He's so sparkly.
Yeah. Because I like, at one point in the comic, I know when they were having the whole like, oh, we should kill this dude. He's like, well, no, he's not a demon, right? He's just a dude who's killing other people. So that's not disrupting the balance of the spirit realm versus the human realm. It's just a human being shitty. But like, then when Noxus comes, and Noxus is also killing people, but then also causing a ton of harm to the spirit realm, as we see in like all the other stories, like it seems like that is something that just undisputedly, like, no, Noxus is really fucking up the balance, and we know you're not above fighting. Like, you send Kennen to that monastery with the express purpose of murdering those monks if they aren't willing to fucking back down. Like, you'll murder folks. Like, it seems like Noxus is a great target for that shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, right? It's frustrating. It's very frustrating to try and grapple with it, because it just feels like, it's like we said, it's kind of fair weather in terms of what balance means, and I don't know, there are sometimes things like that that's like, we don't know the details, we don't know exactly what people think it means, but it doesn't matter. But for Shen, it is like such a driving, for like everybody, him, Zed, Akali, it's such a driving force in terms of like why they make decisions, that we really need to know what the fuck it is and it means. And I get that there's something fun about it's a complex, thorny issue that like there's no clear way through, and how do we as people and like the Ionia figure out how we deal with the situation, right? That's Ionia's whole deal, is like figuring out how they deal. But I'd like a little more guidance from Riot, please.
Yeah,
Please.
it's also it's starting to get tiring how often we've read, and then Noxus invaded, and this person wanted to fight, but this person was like, no, we don't do that, we're in Ionia. It's just been so many times now. Right?
Like, it's not... Like, it's got, one of those World War II parallels to, like, Poland remaining neutral. But, like, it's not that they're attacking other areas and Ionia's like, we shouldn't get involved. Like, they're attacking you. You can't not get involved.
Do you mean Switzerland?
Yeah, I don't think you meant Poland, honey.
Yeah.
Oh, probably, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm making sure I've got the...
Because Poland for sure was very invaded.
Super invaded.
They were super invaded. It was really bad.
It's a whole thing.
So, yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean, though, right? And I don't know. It's the conflict. It is the thing that is Ionia. It defines it. And so on the one hand, it kind of makes sense that it should kind of touch everyone who's there and how that thing affected their lives. But there's a lot of different stories you could probably tell that are not just, do we fight or do we not fight, right? Like, it's like kind of like you're saying, Rebecca, that's the only thing we see a lot of. Whereas there's probably a lot of different things.
Or I wish that other groups thought of a different way to get involved. It's like, we're not going to fight, but we're going to do this instead. But I feel like every time it's just like, we will sit here and contemplate, or I don't know what they decide to do, but they're just like, no, we don't fight. We just, wait? Like, what's your plan? Are you just going to wait until they get there and then just sit and die? Like, I don't get what the plan is for, like, all of the groups who say that they don't fight.
I mean, honestly, the only one that seems like he even fucking had a plan was Shen's dad. His plan was kind of shitty, but, it probably would have worked.
Yeah.
What was his plan?
Sell arms to the people in...
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. It's a whole thing, right? It's a whole...
He's kind of a baddie.
Yeah,
he's kind of,
yeah.
But you're right, though. He had a plan, right? Zed kind of has a plan, right? And it's, that's... He's got a plan. I don't know if it's working per se, but and really, I don't know, man. It's I don't know. And you know, Shen is somebody who I would be kind of pretty comfortable with grappling with that specific topic about or with. But it's like you said, we see it a lot, and it starts to kind of lose its luster. You know.
Yeah.
I like this quote in his bio too, where he's like, "How long can one man walk 2 worlds before the acts of one destroy the other?" And like 2 things. First of all, like we all know which one you're talking about. You know, there's only one asshole here. But 2, it's not even necessarily the acts of one destroying the other. It's kind of the inaction of one destroying the other. Shen.
Yeah.
But you know, you do you, boo.
Yeah, I don't know. I you know what the thing about the Shen bio to me is that it reminds me, the experience I had with a lot of Shen was like Jarvan, which if you've been listening, that's not like a glowing, that's not a ringing endorsement. But there's a lot in the bio that could probably warrant like a scene or being shown. Like his split with Akali, I think would be something I'd like to see more of, because it seems like they're still amicable. They still talk and shit.
Yeah.
They tool around. But what was that like? What was that conversation and that confrontation like? Because it seems like she's really an important person to Shen, and he's important to her. So something other than just like a line in the bio about like, and then Akali left. Right.
Yeah.
I think like Shen shows up in a bunch of stories. There are, I think, probably several versions of Shen that are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't think the bio version is one of them, though.
No, the bio's really not a great introduction to Shen.
It's hard. Cause well, go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. I had nothing.
I don't know. I think it's kind of trying to do heavy lifting around explaining the Kinku, but not success terribly like well.
Right.
It's like, so maybe we could just, I don't know. It's I don't know, man.
Introducing without explaining.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of describing it. Yeah. But.
Yeah. All right. Well, the stories, I guess. I have notes on True Neutral because I don't have notes for the comic, and I know that's long, so I imagine you'll.
Sure.
Which, for the record, we're talking about cool versions of Shen. True Neutral, very cool version of Shen.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, yeah, they just took The Witcher and they just made him Shen. It's like, or rather, they made
oh my
Shen
God,
the Witcher,
I'm so glad you said that. I was like, is he just The Witcher?
Like,
I haven't seen all of The Witcher, so I don't know.
It's like bold-faced, like theft. It's not even like
Really?
subtle.
I didn't notice. That's funny. Okay, it must have been pretty bold-faced because I did see that one season of The Witcher once when it came out, and I still was like, this is like The Witcher.
The only thing you need is like Shen chugging a potion before he goes into the fight.
Sure, he needs some stupid line about how he's got 2 swords, one for spirits and one for, you know, people, but they're both for monsters or whatever. Right?
Oh shit.
All right. Shen arrives on the scene of a shipwreck. A fisherman lost his crew there. They were killed pretty brutally by some spirit in the water. Shen figures out it's a demon. Before he goes to kill the demon, a holy man arrives with some acolytes. They're there to do like a cleansing ritual, is how they say it. And Shen is there to help. They ask him if he's there to help. He does that mysterious man thing where he's just like, balance will be restored, and then he walks away.
They're like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what the fuck does that mean?
Hey, come back and explain yourself. No, okay, he's gone.
What's great though is that normally you wouldn't get the point of view of that mysterious man. You'd be like the person trying to do the cleansing ritual. Anyway, Shen finds the demon, draws his spirit blade, but before he kills it, he starts hearing like these really horrible screams. So he poofs away, and reappears back at the shipwreck where he sees the holy man is killing spirits. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
He's just like mutilating spirits into these black pools of hell.
He's like, oh, these guys are here. They're probably responsible.
Yeah. He asks Shen if he wants a turn.
Hey, you want a hit of this, brah?
That's kind of what he does. He's like, oh, you want to fuck this one up, bud? He's like, I left one for you. Shen puts away his spirit blade, takes out the regular old steel blade, and we cut to black. He murders him. Apparently, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's True Neutral.
That is True Neutral. One thing that sticks out to me, and we'll cover this again in the comic. He puts his spirit blade away because that's for spirits, and he takes out his steel blade, which is for people.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have a watch party on the comic to see how many times he ever uses his fucking steel blade, or whether he just uses his spirit blade on everybody, because that's all he's doing in the comic. It's spirit blade left and right.
It looks cooler,
he's
John.
not killing anyone, okay, in the comic. Okay?
Actually, he could injure with the spirit blade, but
He hurts their soul. It just makes them feel like bad.
oh, it's like cutting words for me.
Yeah, I felt. I mean, I don't know. It's from Shen's perspective, but I don't ever feel like I got a sense of what he is like in his head or what he's feeling.
Yeah,
I know
I had a big problem with that too, where I'm like, I kind of like, I get Shen's role a little bit in like this, this group that they're creating, but who is Shen? What's his favorite day like? What?
I kind of
Your
like
perfect date.
Yeah, your perfect date, Shen.
April 23rd.
Thank you.
I can't remember, or like, I don't think I had as big a problem with that. This sounded to me like the Shen, or at least like the Eye of Twilight, that everyone kept describing, but we never saw. Just like this passionless, emotionless, like, do whatever the balance is, and like it's fine, like don't feel anything about it. Like that was kind of what this was.
I can vibe with that.
But this is also this version of Shen, this bitch here, he would have joined the war.
Yeah,
100%.
Like absolutely.
Again, it's something that we're going to trip up with every piece that we look at. We're going to trip up on. Like, does this make sense? Like, he's killing somebody here, which is already like, okay, so Jen doesn't get killed because he's a person, but this dude gets killed. And I know there's some probably bullshit like riot. There's some Redditor or rioter who wrote something about like, oh, well, he had to make the balance right with the ghosts or what the fuck ever. But it just doesn't make a lot of fucking sense. I like the twist. Yeah. I like the twist at the end, but it's like, hey, something's gonna happen with that holy guy the moment he shows up. Some fucking holy man shows up, that motherfucker's gonna do something.
It's never good news.
It's not good news. And then it's like,
just anytime a holy man shows up in a horror movie, that bad shit's going down.
There was no way this guy was gonna come out of it like smelling like roses. And then it's like, and this to me needs like 2 or 3 more paragraphs of Shen giving a little bit more context around the decision he's making. And I'm fine with him being stoic and placid. I know he's like the emotionless guy, but maybe like a little bit of his internal monologue of like, maybe he can in a distant way compartmentalized, like, and say, oh, I can feel my emotions kind of rising up, but like I tamp them down. I know that this is something that's right to do. I don't know. You know what I mean?
I'm just imagining that gif from, God, what was the fucking movie? The Edgar Wright movie. The guy's just cocking the shotgun like, shame! That's the internal dialogue that I want.
Hot fuzz.
Yeah, hot fuzz.
For Shen in that moment.
Sure.
Yeah, the movie's so fucking good.
It is fucking good.
I need to know more about demons at this point too, Riot. So the demons just like sleeping under a tree? Are demons just like hanging out? Where do they come from? Are they worse than the holy man? I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's like,
because Fiddlesticks is a demon, right? And that seems, we shouldn't just let him wander around shit. If you have the opportunity to kill a Fiddlesticks, you do it, man.
Well, you see, there's a couple different types of demons. They've got the bigger
looked at the
demons
chart
and
I
the
don't understand it, okay? I don't understand the chart. I'm too stupid.
You see, there are 6 keys.
Oh, don't pretend like you know what the fuck the keys are.
10 kings and 9.
Zoe.
So the first breath of creation, right?
Sneezed out 8 keys and 8 demons.
Yeah, it's like, but that's a legitimate thing, though. It's like, maybe you could have killed the demon now, and you could have gone and dealt with the holy guy who's killing like little like slimes or whatever. Like,
aww.
Like, he's just grinding, man. Like, come on.
Right.
He's trying to hit level 18.
He's trying to learn cure all.
Oh, fuck.
So yeah, I don't know.
Man, I've never felt so bad about grinding in a video game now. God damn.
Yeah, I did like the bit, like you said, where he's got on like the imp or whatever, like a pinata, and he's like, "Hey, we'll spin you around, put a blindfold."
It's full of lollipops.
They've got it on a leash, like it's a pet or something,
Right? Had
That's
real
fun.
big fucking Gollum vibes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did like in this story too, kind of the description of his ult. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, to humans, he was a ghost, vanishing in the space between breaths to reappear many miles away. I like that.
Or
There was
poof.
a-
And we see that in the comic too.
Yeah, there is one of the versions of the bio that's a bit older, where it talks about this thing where he was fighting some demon in Noxus, and how, like, to onlookers, it was just him blinking in and out of existence, like getting more and more wounded, and they didn't know what the fuck was going on. But he also saved the entire empire, which I don't know about that last bit, but the fight part sounded pretty cool.
See,
Yeah, it's interesting.
Once again, I have a completely different bio.
I mean, this was like, yeah, I know. I did find the one where he joins the league. I had found that one too. This one was probably
Is
like
it
an
very-
interim.
I don't know much about X-Men, but is this kind of very Nightcrawler a little bit?
Oh,
How
sure.
he teleports. That's kind of the vibe.
I mean, it sounds like the spirit realm seems way friendlier than where
That's
Nightcrawler
fair.
goes.
Nightcrawler, that seemed a little scarier.
I don't know. There's a bunch of demons, and like, did you see that thing he fought in the fucking comics? That seemed pretty nasty.
That was pretty cool. The fucking
was-
Demigorgon.
Yeah, but like made out of scrolls and shit. It was pretty fucking cool. But it looks spooky.
Yeah.
It did look spooky.
I don't want to kiss that thing. That's all I'll say.
You don't have. No one's asking you to kiss
told
the
you to
demon.
kiss
I will not make out with that fucking demon. I don't care how many times.
All right, fine, I'll do it.
Twisted my arm. We'll make out with the scroll Demogorgon.
That's ink all over my face. Yeah.
How did it get down there? All right, so the man with the steel cane. That's what you have next in your notes, hon. This is a Jin story, really. We talked about it in the Jin episode.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's also like it kind of tells a lot of what's also told in the comic. Like
Yeah.
Like the Shen portions of this story are kind of covered in the comic.
Sure. Although we do have a Dumbledore, like, quietly, whatever. You know that line from whatever from Goblet of Fire? Dumbledore asked calmly. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
We got one of those.
The movie
happening here. How was that?
God, are you the front man of System of a Down? Jesus Christ.
Fucking wish. God, that is probably what I sound like when I sing along to System of a Down, though.
Yeah. Okay. Steel cane. No problem. It's a Jin story. Jin is prepping some bullshit. For Shin's part, he is enjoying some delicious sounding fucking
Right?
like ramen type situation. I don't know. It was like some candied pork and some 5-spice broth.
Sounded so good.
I remember thinking that the last time we read this, and it's like, it still sounds delicious.
That was a Ghibli description for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Zed Pot comes in, and it's very. There's a ton of tension, and they're kind of doing that thing where like they're both experts, and they know exactly how far each has to go to kill each other, and Zed's like a half a finger's breadth or whatever, just outside of killing distance, and Shin will kind of inch forward, and Zed will kind of inch back, and Zed is telling him, hey, Jin has escaped, because Shin wants to kill him. But doesn't, and they don't fight or anything. And Zed essentially kind of convinces Shin to, hey, you need to come along and help me catch Jin, because you're the only one who could do this. We're the only ones who can get him. And they quietly set their weapons down and don't fight or kill each other or anything. And meanwhile, Jin is just sitting there like, yes, it's all coming together.
My puppets.
They're gonna be friends again. I just know it.
That was the whole thing. That's what Jin was trying to do this whole time.
You know, we'll talk about it with a comic. I read a very interesting comic painting some of Jin in a weird twisted way as almost being good in the comics. I mean, he's still like a mass murderer psychopath.
Well,
but
you
like,
know.
that he,
We all have our flaws.
But only for the unnamed people we don't give a shit about. So who
Yeah,
cares
the
about them?
nobodies.
But he ships Shen and Zed, so really.
But yeah, it's a pretty short bit. It's like a couple paragraphs for these two. I do like
Okay.
I was gonna say Shen, like in terms of giving Shen good characterization, I thought the bit of him sitting, because he gets this delicious sounding soup and he doesn't eat it. He just puts his spoon down because it's like, oh, you have to wait and be patient for the fat to like melt into the broth. And I was like, oh, that's one of the better like little moments of characterization for like Shen that I found across a lot of this.
But you know what his patience got him? An empty
soup.
belly. Because then he's not even fucking hungry by the end of it.
It's a metaphor, man. The soup is Ionia.
And Shen's just abandoning it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like when Zed gets there. It said like Shen inched forward to the edge of his chair. I do not act because of vengeance. You defy the balance. For that you are damned. Like, yeah, okay, buddy. This is vengeance. You're not fucking fooling anybody here.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about with the comic, but it's like, I think in the comic he's a lot more upfront. Like, yeah, I shouldn't do this.
This is personal. I'm a little too close to this, but I don't give a fuck.
It's like, I think he says something like, I can't waste this opportunity or something like that. It's like, it's more real, right? Than this kind of like, if he was using it as an excuse or a lie or kind of deluding himself, even that could be something, but it's not. I think we're supposed to take it very on the level that no, Shen's just super fucking calm dog.
Shen, Zen, my dude.
Yeah.
Zen, also the ship name with Shed and Zed.
Oh yeah, because we'll just constantly get them. Oh yeah, that was great. I didn't prepare for that. I forgot that's going to happen all the fucking time. But you know what else I like about this little interaction is that I like Zed coming off as fucking, like, he shows up and he says like whatever, Jin's escaped or something like that, and it just describes him as looking like tired and haggard. Like he's not like super anime cool or whatever, he's just fucking tired of doing shit. And it was like, that's the Zed I always picture, is a Zed who's tired. He's just needs a fucking nap.
I mean, didn't this, I'm trying to remember timelines in the comic too, wasn't this confrontation shortly after Zed also got a ton of his people fucking murdered after they stumbled upon Jin's, one of his killing sites? They're like, oh shit, this looks familiar, and then Jin pops out and just murders a bunch of them. Didn't that happen like kind of right before this? That's
true. I don't know if this was written, I mean, this must have been written with that in mind, I guess, but even more broadly, I always pictured Zed as I think he's a fun guy. I'll be interested to see how his lore shakes out. Just because it's like, yeah, he's a super villain, but there's a nice undercurrent of, you know, in the way we're kind of taking umbrage with Shen's inaction. I like Zed as someone who kind of is like doing things that they feel need to be done, even though the work itself maybe kind of exhausts them in some ways. Yeah. Which is kind of almost a mirror to what Shen could be going through, if we could get some insight into his brain. But
yeah, so next up we've got The Bow and the Kunai.
By
Joey Yu.
This was our first like really long story that we read for a collie.
Back in the day.
Way back when we knew so little about the lore. I think it's still the best introduction to the Kinku order, even though it's mostly about a collie. But I feel like if you want to know more about that whole group and what they're doing, or not what they're doing now, but how they got to where they are now, I think this is the best story for that.
Yeah, you get great characterization of Kennen in here. You get great characterization of the useless side of Shen in here. You get one cool action scene with him. But
sure.
Yeah, this is a good introduction to where the Kinku's kind of at right now. Yeah,
I guess, or well, you know, that's a good question in terms of
maybe
like,
not right now.
Yeah, it's a very transformative period of time for them, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So Shen's not in this a ton. I didn't actually write down what her name was for this one, the main POV character.
Faye.
Faye, yes. She is the daughter of Mame, who is so this takes place in the past, right? This takes place pretty recently after Zed's done his whole traitorous thing.
Slaughter,
yeah, that's the word we're looking for. and killed Kusho and etc. So the Kinku is kind of in shambles, we might say. Shit's
They're trying
not
to
right.
piece themselves together. Yeah.
Very tenuous.
Also, to clarify real quick, so Faye wasn't Mayim's daughter,
No,
right?
you're right. You're right. Yeah, I got it backwards. I didn't write down. Like, Akali is her daughter. The problem is Mayim treats Faye like she's her daughter and kind of ignores Akali. That's the whole shtick. Yeah, you're right. So the Kinku is kind of dealing with the aftermath of everything. They're kind of locked in indecision, trying to figure out what do we do? Do we fight Zed? Do we fight Noxus? What's going on? Kusho's gone, and now we've got Shen, who I think is supposed to be pretty young at this time, like maybe early 20s, we might say. Maybe even late teens, like 19, 20. I don't know.
Yeah, because Akali's like not quite a teenager yet. I don't think Akali's really young here. So, yeah.
He's trying.
Shen's young, yeah.
Yeah, and he's kind of been cast into the role of like either Twilight leader, but he doesn't really. He's kind of stuck in inaction, and he's trying to do the whole quiet. I'm going to give you the right answer and think about things thing. But it seems, at least the way I read it, was more that he doesn't really know what the fuck to do exactly, and it's kind of just like, I know I need to figure out the solution, but I don't know what that solution is. That's really the most part for like what Shen does. There is an action sequence a little bit later on where they run into an angry spirit that's a big tree, and they kill the physical manifestation of it, and then Shen goes into the spirit realm and kills the angry spirit, stabs it with a sword. I think that's mostly it for the Shen part. There's a little mention of him like reading stories to to the children, right? He's like reading, like telling them stories about Ionian heroes and legends and shit. Is that right? Like, I thought that was interesting story time with Shen.
Adorable.
He's just reading the champion bios of other Ionian champs.
And then his village was destroyed when Noxus invaded.
So an interesting point on here is at one point Mayim has a quote that said, this is when Shen was kind of like, oh, we must fix the imbalance. We can't waste time with Noxus. And Mayim is like, the Noxian invasion of Ionia is the root cause of this imbalance. The mounting deaths, the reason why the spirit realm is disturbed. If we are to uphold our role as guardians of the Kinku's mission, we must go to the Navori. It's like, fucking yes, finally.
It's something that they grapple with in the comic too, is this idea, and they spell it out a little more clearly in the comic that, if the Kinku were to engage in that, they would stop being what they're supposed to be, and they would stop being this like removed, detached, like arbiter of like balance, and they would just become like warriors like everybody else. But I don't know what that means in terms of like,
right?
Why can't they just do that? Like you said, it seems like maybe doing that, like fighting Noxus, will be in service to being the arbiters of balance and whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, like you're doing it for a specific reason, and the reason is the Kinku mission.
I'm sure you could write something about how like engaging in wholesale warfare, like it just changes you, and it changes your people, and it changes it like somehow would, I don't know, cause problems. Which you could write that, but it's not been written. I've just been told in like characters like arguing about like, well, you can't do that because this will happen. It's like, I don't know, will it? Is that like what the character believes, or is that supposed to be like an immutable fact about reality? I guess is the issue I run into with this. So.
They have a description of Shen in here that I loved. He wore a jacket cut short at the sleeves, tucked into a pair of weather-beaten trousers, which really makes Shen sound like a fucking street tough in a gang.
Sounds, not to bring up It's Always Sunny, but it sounds like Mac. He just goes in.
He kind of does, though. When he's ulting. He's doing his katas. Oh my god, that's fucking great. It casts everything in a whole new light. Right. Yeah. Well, first off, with balance, anything's possible, so jot that down. Oh my god.
That's the perfect quote. I couldn't think of one that was the perfect quote to throw in. Please, someone make that meme for me. I'm not good enough at drawing or Photoshop. Oh, that's great. Anyway, sorry, I was trying to find the cat's toy. I probably brought it back, but he's being so cute.
I know. If we drop out of frame, it's because we're kneeling down
trying.
to pet our cat. He's being very cute. Now, Shen is also mentioned in a lot of stories. So he is in Between Light and Shadow, another Joey Yu story. This is the one where Shen and Kennen discovered that a loyal temple of Kinku have become corrupted because their loyalty to Shen's orders for inaction have caused them to forsake their fellow countrymen, and they can't really live with that guilt, so dark spirits have been feeding on their negative emotions. So Kennen has to go there and fucking murder them until they decide to leave.
To be fair, he gives
for their
them
own
an
good.
out. Yeah, he's like, you're done. They just kick him out. They fire. They just gave him all pink slips, essentially, right?
Yeah. And then if anyone remembers, according to John, Kennen then shocked them back to life so they could dig their graves and then killed them again.
I mean, it would be in his character in this one because it's also mentioned that Kennen clearly dodges all of their clumsy attacks as if they weren't fucking anything. So he didn't have to kill any of them. He could have just sat there dodging all day and being like, hey, you guys are wasting your time. You want to leave yet? But no, he made the decision to murder folk that day.
I do remember talking about this a little, and I will say what you just pitched is way more fun and seemingly in character for Kennen, of him not... And also in line for like a Kinku guy, that he wouldn't just kill them, he would instead just take this kind of passive, non-violent resistance thing of... like you said, dodging around from like from dawn till dusk. He sat there dodging around until they were exhausted, right? And he's still spry. That's a good
great
idea. You should do that.
Hire him, Ryan.
Hire him. Yeah.
Next, we've got Leaving Wele with Michael McCarthy. This is the Akali story where she's doing Akali things after leaving. This is like very shortly after leaving the Kinku. So we'd kind of just got a little bit of that background with her fight with Shen there. Then we've got The Heart of the Tempest, which is the Kennen bio by Ian St. Martin, where we just learned that Kennen is the one who actually helped lead the Kinku when Shen was busy sucking.
Aww.
Then we've got The Master of Shadows, which is a Zed bio by Michael Luo and Ariel Lawrence, where, we just learn more about Zed's history with Shen. Nothing big there. We've got The Rogue Assassin, which is the Akali bio by Michael McCarthy. Akali, who in the bio really admires Shen. Or rather, we didn't necessarily talk about it in the Bow and the Kunai, but Akali really admires Shen in the Bow and the Kunai. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to grow up and be like that. That guy is awesome. Now, she's done with this shit. So she leaves to do Akali things. And then finally, The Virtuoso, which is the Jin bio, where we just kind of rehash some stuff from the comics. So
Sure. Oh, I forgot to mention in the man with the golden cane. Unless that gun or whatever. Akali, there's another little bit where Akali and Shen are looking at some of the aftermath of Jin's stuff, and I do like Shen's line there where she's like, "Ooh, why? Like, let me go see the cool crime scene."
Oh no!
And Shen's like, "No, don't do it." And she's like, "Why? You don't think I'm ready for it?" And Shen's like, "I wasn't when I was your age." I don't know. I didn't do that line very good, but the way it's written is actually kind of neat.
He also froze during it, which was interesting.
Oh, great. Cool.
Yeah. That's good stuff. I can't wait to hear the full thing when I'm editing it later.
Don't worry about it. It's not very good. You can just cut it. Cut this whole thing.
Sure, I'll definitely do that.
But yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of the comic, we got the comic.
The Zed comic for the 5th time.
Woo!
I'm gonna eat an Oreo.
Won't it be fun to read it for Zed, finally?
Right? Oh, it'll be so exciting.
Okay, so if you're not watching the video, yeah. There was an incident with part of an Oreo.
This whole bag.
You were so excited.
This whole bag, all the Oreos are like broken in half or something, and I grabbed the one that I thought wasn't, and then I did the split in half thing with the Oreos, and I was gonna eat part of the half, and it broke and then just fell on the ground.
Was it the cream side
ants?
or the...
This is how you get ants.
them. I'm gonna it up. Talk
Man, you know
about
how you
that.
get ants? You have a fucking baby that you're trying to put food in their mouth.
Oh my god! And they just fling it all over the goddamn. I was scooping up so much watermelon off the floor today.
Oh, don't worry. The ants are taking care of it for us. We're totally fine. We've reached an accord. But,
Feast my brethren.
just don't sting me. Don't bite me. Be out of the house by 9 o'clock. Give you all the
No loud noises, no parties.
give you all the quartered grape you can eat. Yeah. So comic. I know we've talked about it a bunch. The very brief summary is that. The very brief summary is that Jen is indeed out and about, and he is fucking around with Zed. He's shooting up Zed's people. Zed is kind of trying to get back on the case, and he needs to recruit Shen, and Shen initially doesn't want to go along with him, and Jin still just causing problems, and it actually seems to be the case that Jin is doing as much as he can to get Zed to come after him and he's trying to get them teamed up, essentially. He's playing matchmaker in his own weird way. And this whole time we're seeing flashbacks of Zin. Jesus, here we go.
Went with Shed on that one instead of Zen.
We're seeing flashbacks of them too, back when they were like really young, and some of their experiences dealing with Jin. And it kind of comes to a head with Shin and Zed sort of fighting, and Shin wants to kind of ultimately know why is it that Zed betrayed, him and killed his dad, and Zed keeps giving him lies. He's not giving him the actual answer. But Akali, who has also been in this comic and was trying to get Shin to also go and get Jin, has gone off after Jin into Piltover. So Shin and Zed do end up needing to team up, and they need to go help Akali and deal with Jin. And it comes into a big fight, where they win. They capture Jin. They don't kill him. They put him back in Arkham. And the big twist at the end of it all is that Zed. So the whole time Zed's been trying to figure out how did Jin get out, right? Because there's only like 4 people who know where he is: Shin, Zed, Kusho, and Shin's old girlfriend, who is not a suspect. Don't worry about it. But Zed knows who it is, and it is it's Kusho. Kusho is still alive. Zed did not kill Kusho. Kusho and Zed hatched a little scheme to fake Kusho's death so that he could then take control. Okay, follow me now. He could then, from the shadows, lead the Navori Brotherhood in the Ionian Resistance and help lead Ionia out of conflict. And now Kusho's been fucking corrupted by the shadow magic and wants Jin out there, essentially committing a bunch of false flag attacks on people to get everyone scared and willing to kind of unify into a single military Ionian nation that Kusho will then lead. And Zed kind of realizes that this is bullshit. Kane is here. He shows up, and Kane has a nice little bit at the end where you think he might betray Zed, but he doesn't. He stays loyal to his his master. And then Zed and Kusho fight, and Zed actually does kill Kusho at the end of it all. So we kind of end where we started, where Zed has killed Kusho, but for reals this time.
No takesies backsies now.
Yeah. No,
well, who knows? It's Runeterra.
That's right.
Yeah. You know what? It's almost... It is nice that it's not that he didn't want to die, it's that he actually had a little plan. He didn't just choose to not die. That's kind of nice in a way.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace.
So,
I do feel like we just read this in the Katarina.
Exactly. I didn't mention it in that revisit episode, but it is the exact same kind of twist almost. I will give it up to this comic that it came first, so it's not their fault. I
guess the main difference is that I guess in this instance, Zed's kind of the Swain. I was gonna say at least you get the catharsis of him being able to be the one who actually kills the big baddie, as opposed to the Katarina comic where she didn't even get to kill. Swain just flapped in and was like, boom.
Yeah, she was ready to make a heroic sacrifice. I was down with it. Mm-hmm. So I guess what I want to talk about with this comic is how different Shin is compared to how he is described and depicted in the other lore, because this Shin is angry and yells all the time.
He's
There is
fucking diesel as fuck.
also that he's yoked out.
They
he
really
emotes-
widen the picture.
It's not even that. It's like he was really he was really hitting the steroids, and maybe that's why he's so angry all the time. There are so many panels of him yelling, like his mouth open in a full on yell. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
it's weird.
Just so different.
Yeah.
And even compared, so we were talking about the other story, the man with the golden compass. He that same scene shows up in the comic, but it's totally different. Where in the comic, there's no like patience or quiet at all. Shen just attacks Zed and they fight, and the whole conversation happens as it does in the story, but they're fighting at the time.
Right.
You know, like
Shen just whips out his spirit blade and goes straight for Zed.
pretty much. And I guess there is like a difference in the line that like he is more willing to engage in vengeance in the comic, it seems, than in the story. He's more, I don't know.
I do love that near the beginning when Akali's like, hey, by the way, I just wanted you to know Zed's in the area, so if you want to go get a piece, I'm going there now. And he's like, no, Akali, you don't understand. I don't do this for vengeance. But yes, I am going to go with you because I super duper want vengeance.
I think at first he's like, I gotta go, there's a demon down south. And she's like, oh, is that really more important? He's like, it's 6 demons. And that is more important. It's a lot of fucking demons I gotta deal with down there. I'm up to my ass in alligators down there.
There's so many demons.
You know what was an interesting thing that I had not noticed about Shen in here or in previous readings is that Shen did engage in some combat against Noxians.
Yeah, I had forgotten that too.
I think I skimmed it because I was like, this is Shen shit. We'll read it later. So yeah, before Zed even, he had been going out and it's very sneakily fighting Noxians and fucking up their supply
trade
line.
routes. Yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't know.
Another thing that I had forgotten about too was that Shen was not even next in line for the Eye of Twilight. His dad picked Zed.
Yeah, I wondered if that was something that was well known, or if that was something that was just or if that was something that was more between Kusho and Zed, because it doesn't come up in a lot of places, and you don't see a lot of people being like, "Oh, you were never meant for this." You know, everyone seems to kind of accept it.
I think it was kind of private.
Yeah, but I think I kind of like it because I'm liking through this comic the depiction of Shen as like there's his ex. He was arranged to be married to this lady who actually was in love with Zed. Whatever, they're all past it now. You know, it's like, oh, when we were young. But she says that, you know, he never wanted to be the Eye of the Twilight, and it's something that was kind of forced on him. And when you see some of the way he acts, like in the comic, he's way more emotional than you would expect. It talks about how when he and Zed were first interacting, what happens in the scene is Kusho has Shen, who has had a whole day of training, and he grabs his like cleaning servant, which is Zed, and has Zed fight Shen, and Shen just kicks his ass and beats him up like for hours. And then finally Zed's like, finally I see an opening and I get a good hit in. And then he's like, later on Shen told me that he felt bad and let me hit him, right? And so the only reason I'm anything at all is because Shen was kind to me in that moment and things. It's like Shen maybe really doesn't want to be the Eye of the Twilight is kind of what I'm seeing from his actions. And I kind of like that he's someone who has found himself in this position and has to do it, but like it's not really who he is. He's someone who does want to go fight Noxus, you know, secretly, and who does want to like show kindness and stuff, you know, and take vengeance, shit like that. So I like comic Shen, I guess I'll say.
I do like comic Shen.
Maybe like the comic Shen is what's really happening, and then those stories are like what Shen thinks is going on. Like he thinks he's sitting there being all calm.
Right.
So like when he tells the story, that's what he says.
He's like fucking Iron Fist. Just like
I never watched it.
I try to erase it from
just sits
my
there
brain.
talking about like, I have learned to master my emotions, and spends the entire fucking season 1 just getting pissed off and fucking up.
That was really funny.
I do love issue 2 when they do the whole bait where Zed gets captured and then Shen he breaks through the wall like fucking Superman with lightning powers crackling and shit.
I thought you were gonna say like the Kool-Aid Man.
Kool-Aid Man. I thought he was gonna say the Kool-Aid Man too. Oh yeah, it's balance time.
Someone make that fucking edit, please.
We have so many Shen memes.
He's kind of funny. He's kind of a funny individual. I would like, you know what I would like? I like where this comic ends for Shen, because I think that's a really neat thing to eventually get for him to learn, right? Is all the truth around Zed and his dad, and I would like to see how that affects him, and I would like to see him change. And I would like a comic that was like this, but it was Shen, so we could see more of Shen's like what he's thinking and feeling and his perspective, because it is Zed. It's the name. It's Zed. So it's all Zed's perspective. Like, even in the bit where they finally catch Jin, I don't think Shen says anything. It's just Kusho and Zed arguing about whether or not we should stab this guy. And Shen's just, like, sitting there quietly in the corner like, oh, they're arguing again.
I guess I'll get a muffin after this one.
That sounds good. Or even, like, there's another scene where they're dealing with the aftermath of one of Jin's attacks. This is when they're younger. And it's pretty horrific. I actually think it's really effectively done. We'll talk about it with Zed. But Shen, I don't remember seeing him at all in that entire sequence.
The whole scene.
And it was it's a very, like, it totally marked Zed and affected how he, like, views the whole world. And I'd like to see what was Shen doing and how did that affect Shen, because it seemed really shitty.
He was out getting that muffin.
He's doing a coffee run.
He comes back, what the fuck?
With the pizza, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking.
So it was interesting. So we read the Akali story back in the day, where Akali just destroys a whole bar full of like bodyguards and shit. So like Akali, very competent. And then we see Akali fight Zed, and it was such a non-fight. Akali like jumps out, kind of has the element of surprise, and Zed literally just like bats her aside. He's like, "Peh," and he like looks at Shen, and it's like, she's your student, so I'll let that go, but like don't fucking let it happen again. So like it makes Zed seem like really powerful, and then the bar scene, or the ramen scene where Zed goes in and Zed's like, I'm gonna stay here because Shen could for sure kick my ass if I get even a little bit closer. It really, like, you really get the power level of Shen in this. Makes him seem OP as fuck.
I mean, he does beat the shit out of Zed. Like, he beats.
It's true. He is sandbagging a little bit, but still.
Yeah, I guess that's true. He does. Yeah, but Shen seems to know that he's sandbagging, which is kind of funny too. I did like that there is a bit where Shen's having an emotional breakdown. Essentially, he's beating the shit out of Zed, and he's like, "You were my brother, Anakin." Like, that's nearly the exact line.
You were supposed to bring balance.
Your midichlorians content or comment was very apropos. Let's just say that was pretty funny. I also liked, because I almost feel like there's a little bit of like would you say like a little bit of a Batman thing going on? You get some of that stink off of Shen. You know what I'm saying? They call him the Great Detective.
Especially when he started
point.
doing all like that boring investigation shit.
Yeah.
Just walking around talking to people, looking for ledgers.
At least that was only like one series of panels. They were like, let's get this all condensed down. Here's him and Zed tooling around, asking this guy to ask that guy. It's like playing a game of telephone. Like, oh, did you hear Jin? Is there a guy in a mask around? You ever seen that picture of Batman with a megaphone just like in the streets, just like, has anyone seen the Joker? Makes me think of that a little.
Because who doesn't notice him?
Shen is not inconspicuous.
Yeah, let me tell you.
All league champions, they must stand out so much in this world.
They kind of do.
Yeah.
Kind of do. But
also, Shen really fucks up a lot in this comic too, just in pursuing Zed, because like Zed kind of has Jin dead to rights, at least at one point in this story, and like it looked like he was even potentially going to get there in time to stop like a big massacre if he was able to kind of close the distance in time. And fucking Shen just ults out of nowhere and it's like, no, Zed, my vengeance. So stops him from stopping Jin. Jin murders a whole bunch of people. And then again, Zed's like just close enough, like, oh, I can shadow step and I can stop Jin from murdering people. But he notices that Shen, like a fucking punk, has been knocked out from the explosion and is drowning. So he's like, oh, I guess I can't kill Jin. I'll go rescue this asshole instead. Like, you fucked everything up, Shen.
Yeah. Okay, so here's something I had not noticed, but in reading reactions and shit about the comic, someone pointed out is in issue 6, in like that one of the very last panels. So this is Zed has killed Kusho, and he's like cradling his dead body in his arms in the rubble. So something that's been running along this comic is that Jin has been like comparing, oh, they're all marionettes, they're puppets, they dance to my tune or whatever, and he's got little marionette puppets of Jin and Shen and Zed, who the fuck ever. And in that panel where Zed is cradling dead Kusho, there's a little puppet that is styled after Kusho in like his old outfit in that rubble. It almost is like, and I saw the supposition that this is a visual clue that everything, including Zed killing Kusho, has all been orchestrated by Jin, and he's this master planner, and he's done all of this, and it's all gone according to his plan. Even getting captured, even not killing anybody, it's all according to plan.
Damn.
I don't know.
He's the Thresh of this area.
Kinda, yeah.
Another thing I liked is that after that whole thing where Shen fucks up and then Zed fails to kill Jin, Zed's kind of like, Shen, come on. And like Shen gives Zed this whole fucking speech, kind of while he's kicking his ass, about like, you have no patience, that's your problem, you walk into traps without even thinking about it, and you're the reason Jin's doing this. He wouldn't have even come here if you weren't gonna come. He knew you were gonna come. You were the audience for this whole thing is your fault. And like, barely a day passes, and then Shen finds out that Akali went to Piltover and doesn't strategize at all. He's like, oh, I guess we got to go to Piltover then. Walks straight into a trap when he was the audience for the entire thing.
I think he has a line literally before that was like, it's a trap, or like let's not walk into a trap now. And then he rolls like a nat 1 on the perception, and then just like walks right into it.
Crashes through a fucking window. It's like, oh no, my stealth check.
We've all been there, man.
That's the thing, is I can't tell, is it bad writing, or is it intentional writing around Shen like spouting bullshit, but maybe not actually like living up to the ideal of like what he espouses, right? And I can't tell.
It's tough. Like, that job is impossible, because the only example we have of Eye of the Twilight is Shen and Kusho, and we know that Kusho may have been plotting way beforehand to turn into big evil guy, and we've got Shen, who like clearly doesn't seem cut out for this either. Like, maybe this is just a role that no one can fucking do because it's dumb.
It's a good question. I think what you said is also a good point, is that the Kusho twist does cast into suspicion, like how much of, because he's kind of there throughout the comic at various points in their lives. Was he planning like was he evil the whole time? Was he like, when he was taking Zed under his wing and adopting him into his house, did he do that with the intention of like, this 4-year-old will be politically expedient for me later on? Right? Or was he genuine and then became an asshole, is I guess my question for Kusho.
Yeah.
And did Jin somehow orchestrate that too?
Just a little baby Jin. Playing with this Kusho marionette.
Oh fuck, I love it.
Also, we get to see in this fight between Akali and Jin, Akali throws down her smoke cloud and is like, you can't fight what you can't see. And then Jin just turns on some fans and blows the mist away like other people in and Piltover have done.
That's why, because Jin took all the fucking fans. He robbed the Best Buy or the Radio Shack or whatever. I don't know. The Walmart appliance section. I don't know, man. Oh, it's so hot. Oh, where'd all the box fans go? And then there's Jin like, dance.
How many fans did it need for a Kali smoke bomb?
All of them.
It's a lot of smoke. But yeah.
Yeah.
I like I said, I like Shin in the comic, but I think it's because he's written as someone who tries to live up to this title, but maybe is not actually cut out for it. Like, that's not really who he is. And I kind of like some of this idea of like him and Zed both being kind of haunted or under like by Kusho and all the Kusho has done in their lives. And Jin even has a line where he says to Zed like, "I'm free, and in a way now you are free, because now you're like." He doesn't say it explicitly, but you're out from under Kusho, this weird honor debt that you have to Kusho now, because he's crossed the line, right? So in this way, you can go be free to be the best Zed you can be, or whatever the fuck he wants. I don't know. Go kiss Shin on the mouth. I don't know what Jin's actually after, to be honest with you.
Whatever you want to do.
Whatever, man. I think that's it. I was trying to remember if there's anything else from the comic. There's a lot. It's pretty dense.
Yeah. I think that's all I had for the comic.
Yeah.
Want to hear about some old lore?
Yeah, it's canon
Yeah.
Shen, I guess, huh? Yeah.
I think so.
So the version of the bio that I have here a lot of it's kind of the same, just kind of the boring Eye of the Twilight balance bullshit.
Pre-Zed, though.
Does this have the bit about his dad?
Yes.
Okay.
What about his dad?
So, basically, as the final trial to ascend to the position of Eye of the Twilight, he was made to attend the Takanu, which is a ceremony in which his father was tortured before his eyes to test his resolve. Any reaction whatsoever would have resulted in his immediate disqualification, but he never averted his gaze and never blinked, not once. So, he was ready to be the Eye of the Twilight. And then as the Eye of the Twilight, he must make decisions which would buckle the wills of ordinary men, removing all emotion from the equation. So he now works with his fellows Akali and Kennen to enforce the balance of Valoran. And this hallowed pursuit has unsurprisingly led the triumvirate to the fields of justice.
Sure, of course it has.
He said it. Yeah, I remembered that from back when that was actual lore, and I was like, oh man, back when this was lore, I used to think that was really cool. Now it's really edgy, but
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It is like getting across what what his purpose is supposed to be, I guess.
Sure. There's a way you could write it, and it would be probably work.
Yeah, for sure.
But in a single sentence, it's like, oh man, this shit's fucking dark and fucking hardcore, man.
He also shows up in 2 Journal of Justice articles.
Wow, less than Shaco.
Less than Shaco.
Right?
That's just buck wild.
So, the first one, issue 22, Shen and Akali perform the Tale of Reyna at the Ionian Festival of Fire, which is tied to the blood moon. So this tells the story of a legend in which an ancient Ionian warrior is hunted by an evil spirit. So Akali took the part of Reyna, dressed in formal Ionian red and white battle garb, and Shen played the spirit that plagued her, adorned with a fearsome mask. Then, as the legend goes, Reyna fled the spirit for years, yet it always found and tormented her. Finally, Reyna donned her own mask to confront the spirit, but when she turned to face it, it never came again, frightened away by her strength.
I like that this is like the old AU lore almost for the skins.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that a lot in Journal of Justice, where they make AU lore canon. They actually do it with Shen too, with his doctor skin. They made the doctor's one canon for a bit. I also like that this is the Tale of Reyna, and I'm pretty sure This was named after one of the writers on the team.
I think I was like, that name is really sticks out. Yeah, sure, why not, right?
Yeah, and these, for the record, these are their Blood Moon skins. This was when they were first introduced. This was is another thing they did. They would put Journal of Justice articles in when new skins were released to act as marketing for the new skins, basically. So this was the marketing for the Blood Moon skins.
Sure.
And then issue 26, after all that shit goes down, and the League's validity is called into question, we get this gem from Shen. The Kinku have reflected upon the League's actions in Kalamanda a great deal. As the days pass, we focus upon one principle: order, oftentimes rises from chaos. To enact judgment upon the situation now would be to strike without true understanding, as it is the purpose of the League of Legends to maintain harmony within Valoran. Whether or not that purpose has been fulfilled remains to be seen. The Kinku remain watchful. So their stance on it is like, yeah, okay, we'll keep watching. Things will shake out maybe. We'll keep an eye on it, guys. We're not going to do anything, but like, yeah, we see you.
Man,
Twilight, bitch.
The Kinku are like the embodiment of Left on Red. Like, so much, right? They're not going to respond. They're just like, yeah, I see that text.
They changed their profile picture.
Yeah. Yeah. And we get a few cinematics. One is actually kind of canon. It's like, it's Legends of Runeterra, so close enough to canon. Where this is called The Lesson, where it's an Akali Shen story. Akali kind of sees an Noxian cutting down a tree, goes to stop him, and the guardian spirit comes out. They got to work together to placate it and restore the balance.
I'll say she jumped over ready to kill that Noxian and then realized it was a child. Yes. And then she was like, oh, fuck, my bad.
But Shen was still ready to kill
the child. He was like, he cut down the tree. It was balance, yeah.
I mean,
you get what you get.
He had his water spell ready to go. He's gonna do some old shit, I don't know. I think to me this is like the closest that they've come to like here's the concept of balance that the Kinku are trying to enforce is here it is. But this doesn't explain what happens if that little kid had stabbed somebody. So it's like it doesn't quite shake out.
We do get to see the best Akali side eye ever, as she sees the Noxian cutting down the tree, and she's like, I'm gonna go teach them a lesson. And Shen just kind of like walks behind her and is like, with your steel. And she's
yeah, idiot.
Yeah.
God, Dad, you're so embarrassing.
Can't believe I used to think you were cool.
We do get a lot of new kind of cool Shen powers here too, though. So like, first of all, Shen pulls Akali into the spirit realm on this one, which was pretty fucking cool. I don't think we've seen him do that shit before.
I watched this right after the bio, and I was like, oh, that's what they were talking about.
It's like he has KDA vision, kind of.
Oh my god, that's exactly what I was thinking, Mark. Is it looks like shit, Kali looks like her KDA.
Yeah.
It's, so yeah. Additionally, when Akali just gets fucking wrecked by the Guardian Spirit, he just kind of, catches her with his magic powers and just like gently lowers her to the ground. And then at the end, he just kind of touches a seed and grows it into this massive ass fucking tree.
Like, you could just do that. There's seeds everywhere for trees.
So, I mean, Shen's got some pretty cool fucking powers in this cinematic.
I do like that, like, I was like, yeah, he can see into the spirit realm and he has like a cool like attack shield. And also he's just got a green thumb like a motherfucker. This guy
Can he do our yard?
Right?
It's not looking great.
God, he would not be happy with the balance that we've created in our life.
Here's the thing. We left it be. We let nature do its thing. That's balance. What the fuck are you talking about? Pulling weeds, spraying poison. That's not balance, John.
Sure.
I'm doing what's best for the environment.
Some daisies pop out and kick you right in the nuts. You do that shit. Oh man.
Now, he also shows up in Ignite. Actually, I'll go in order. So he shows up in Road to the Cup first. Shen's another one of those ones. He's not in the video proper, but he is on the final screen at the end of the video. I think it's actually Impact who's Shen in this too, because he's got the SKT jersey on, and I think that was the season that Impact was top laner for SKT. So you see SKT dressed as Shen, or Impact dressed as Shen. And then we get the Ignite cinematic, where Shen basically just kind of highlights the play where Shen gets pulled back by Orianna. Kind of a peak range Orianna ult to kind of one-shot a Shen back when that was possible to do with Orianna to a Shen.
What a strange state of affairs.
Now
Right.
you'd use everything, he'd still have like 3/4 health.
Yeah, just walk away.
Or just
somewhere
do
else.
more damage to you than you've just done to him.
One-shots
Full
you.
tank, yeah.
You get the comic book version of Shen where he just dashes to you and then you're dead. Uses his spirit sword on you.
Pours Kool-Aid all over your dead ass. Yeah.
This is a really good series, though. All those games were good.
Oh yeah.
That was the Taipei Assassins game versus Azubu Frost.
I don't remember
I remember that play. Like I remember seeing it like IRL
Yeah.
with my eyeballs.
I don't. Oh man,
That's
I saw
good.
it with my eyeballs too, but I don't remember.
And then finally, we got Worlds Collide. He shows up at 3 minutes and 14 seconds, right as the 2 European teams who made it to semis that year. That's right, 2 of them made it to semis that year. But then they both got knocked out in what was deemed the European eulogy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Those are some good ass meme right there.
right. But yeah, he shows up there. I also have some fun quote facts, or not fun quote facts, just kind of quote quote.
Okay, huh? All right. You're doing really good.
Thanks. If light travels so fast, how come it's never caught a ninja? Which is a question from the Ask a Ninja website.
Man.
What the hell is that?
Ooh, this is some old ass fucking internet
Old
humor.
ass internet shit.
I must be too young.
I actually think I have the Ask a Ninja book on the shelf somewhere.
I think I had that book too. Man.
Those are the good old days. That's where the seppuku swallowing a frisbee shit came from.
Sure.
What are you
Good.
talking about?
No, never mind. I thought I knew what you were talking about, but I don't. That one I don't know.
That's cool. It's cool. But yeah, that's from
Fine.
Ask a Ninja. You're already dead. You just haven't caught up yet. Is a Kenshiro reference from Fist of the North Star.
What's that?
That's an old anime.
Oh,
Old ass.
It's that one where
anime.
it's got the powers where like a guy can like touch you and then just kind of walk away and you just fucking explode.
Yeah. It's fucking
It's pretty cool. It's pretty fucking cool. And enforced equilibrium and tread carefully might be an equilibrium reference. His partner has a quote in there that says, "Tread carefully, Preston. You're treading on my dreams."
Also the bad guy at the end says that shit too. Oh my god, damn. Equilibrium's fucking great.
Fucking love that movie.
It's
He
really
sucks
not.
so hard.
So good. It's so good.
I love it. Shit. We're getting to all the old shit here. Ask a Ninja, Equilibrium. Oh my god.
Right.
Yes.
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium. Sound like a Harry Potter spell.
That's how the kid says it.
That is how the kid says it.
Oh, really?
The
It's
weird
like
kid.
everyone pronounces it. I feel like everyone else in the movie pronounces it equilibrium, but then his son is like equilibrium.
Father, Equilibrium.
I don't remember that.
Equio saw. You want to learn about some AUs?
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah.
So we got a few from Legacy, which are treasures from days long past, glimmering just within reach.
Well, okay.
This is where Yellow Jacket Shen and Warlord Shen fall into, and neither have any lore.
You've ever explained legacy skins before?
Is Warlord Shen... Okay, Warlord Shen is good. Yellow Jacket is just Scorpion, right?
That was the one that definitely in the olden days used to be 100% Scorpion, and they've kind of like redid it a little bit to avoid, being sued probably. But
yeah, that's good.
It used to very clearly just be Scorpion.
Yeah.
What about Warlord Shen? He does not look like Shen at all here.
I like that one. I use that one a lot.
It's pretty cool. I was surprised they hadn't found like an AU to put that in yet.
Yeah, right.
They could have found something.
There's got to be one where it's like, ooh, real world. Like the one that Sheikah one that we did, where he's got the Korean.
Yeah. The Korean mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Worlds.
I don't know.
World of the Worlds.
World of World
Wonders of the World.
Yeah. There
Got
it
it.
is. I knew it was in that brain.
Sure.
Next up, we got The Grind, which is kind of the day job one now, and specifically Rift Hospital. Take a seat. The doctor will be right with you. This one is Surgeon Shen. Rest assured, anesthesia won't be part of the operation. Sounds like a bad surgeon.
The new splash for this is so cool.
Maybe he's just that good. He just like...
Maybe. It's kind of like acupuncture, but like you don't feel it as he's slicing you all the way open and taking your heart out.
Maybe it's like, how in like an anime or something, they'll like cut and you won't even see the cut. It's just like the dude just... right? Like after a second. But it's like your lung's been replaced or something like that. It's like, oh fuck, my knee just got fixed.
All right, I want to go there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, me too.
Talk about outpatient.
Right. Hey. Also, fun fact about this one, this was a huge missed opportunity to name the AU Shenral Hospital.
He doesn't run the hospital, okay? He's just a surgeon.
He could, though. They're writing it. They're writing the AU.
They do what they want. Also, while not directly part of this universe, Amumu, Cho'Gath, Singed, and Urgot have all appeared in skin splash arts, both old and current in it.
Not a calling? Not Nurse a calling?
She's part of the AU.
Oh, okay.
The other ones
you're
aren't
right.
part of the AU.
Yeah,
They've just kind of showed up in the Slash.
Yeah, I misunderstood.
And the Rift Hospital skins were canon in the pre-retcon lore. Let's see. We've got Moons of Ionia, which is where Blood Moon falls under now. An ancient cult seeking irresistible power surfaces on nights of the Blood Moon to perform profane esoteric rites, merging their flesh with demonic spirits and becoming one with an ever greater darkness. This is Blood Moon Shen. The most indomitable discipline in mind and body, Shen's loyalty to the Blood Moon cult can never be shaken. He serves as the personal bodyguard of the group's most important figures, executing interlopers with a cool dispassion, suggesting part of his humanity has already been consumed.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's different.
It is, a little bit, but also kind of like a little bit like what he is supposed to do with his cool dispassionate thing. Although in this one, that cool dispassion is described as losing part of your humanity. So again, maybe the role he has just isn't meant for people.
Yeah.
And we got Pulsefire. After unlocking the secrets of time travel, these champions are thrust into a far-flung dystopian future. While Chrono Enforcers relentlessly pursue them across time and space, a small few have escaped into history, taking their technology along for the ride. This one's Pulsefire Shen. Over the millennia, Shen has been called many names: Warlord, Trespasser, Conqueror. Even so, his mission to build an army for the ages seems never-ending. Seeking only the smartest and the strongest to join his ranks, he remains untroubled by emotion, casting his timeless gaze over those with hidden potential. So, again, he is successful in this one at being untroubled by emotion, and that translates into becoming a warlord who's trying to conquer all the timelines.
I think I know an Eye of the Twilight who had something similar happen to them, except for the timeline shit. Interesting.
Who Infernal? He has an infernal
He has an
skin?
infernal
How
skin.
did I never see this?
Scorching an entire world takes unimaginable strength, which is why the Ashen Lord called upon his legions of infernals to lend their flames. From the darkest depths, they each bring their own terrible powers to bear, though not all answer their call with the same burning enthusiasm. This one's Infernal Shen. An infernal warrior risen from the raging depths of the underworld, Shen appears on battlefields in the blink of an eye, shielding his fellow titans from even the most well-organized resistance. And this one has, I think, a Legends of Runeterra card, actually, because there's a level up quote for it. Mortal, why do you struggle against the inevitable? All creatures must eventually turn to ash and be remade in the Ashen Lord's image. Fear not, your death will be swift. Destruction and rebirth arise from the same flame.
Pretty cool. I'm gonna ask, and I'm sure you'll tell me. Does this interact at all with like his frozen Shen skin? I remember there was like a thought that Glacial might be technically in the same one as Infernal.
Now, no, but I have a different interesting interaction with the Glacial skin line.
Oh.
Okay.
So, like you mentioned, he is part of Glacial. The world is frozen, with few left to remember its cause. Old terrors stir from beneath the ice, ready to claim the world once more. The flame of hope remains, but the days are short and the nights long. This one's Frozen Shen. Enduring the bitter cold, Shen roams the ice caps with his twin blades, hunting the terrifying demon hidden deep underneath. Now, in this splash art, Shen is fighting Shockblade Zed, which is a different AU
right.
entirely, which Shen is also a part of.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, interesting. What a twist.
What a twist.
He's real beefy in the Shockblade one.
He is beefy in the Shockblade.
I always think it's Cassidon at first when I see him for a second.
Yeah. So the Shockblade one is technically called Cloud Edge, which really just sounds like they were trying to find other words other than Shockblade. They're like, what is like another word for blade and another word for...
They could have done better.
Again, one of those riot meeting rooms. They've been in there for 9 hours. They've got on a big whiteboard 27 words for shock, 26 of which are crossed out. I love it.
Sounds more like they wanted to revamp the cloud, and they're like, "This is the new cloud, Cloud Edge."
Right. Oh shit.
So, yeah, this one, bearing weapons imbued with lightning magic through the deadly cloud ritual, Shockblades are an order of mysterious shinobi warriors tasked with protecting humankind from malevolent spirits and monsters.
Not the cloud ritual. Anything but that.
Beware the Shockblades.
Beware the clouds.
They travel between the mortal and spirit realms to chase down threats no one else can touch, safeguarding the future for all denizens of the mortal world.
So it's just Shen.
It's just Shen.
But he's got lightning.
They're all Shens.
They're all too many Shens.
This one's Shockblade Shen. Once half of an elite operative duo for the Shockblade Order, Shen stepped away from combat after he made a mistake that nearly cost the life of his partner Zed. Now Shen mentors young shinobi training to join their ranks, but his new charge may inspire him to take up his sword and join the fight once more.
Oh, shit. His splash is with Kiana, so is that his new...
Yeah, I was going to ask.
It's gotta be.
His new charge.
Yeah.
Shockblade.
The Psyops one is wild. I don't think I knew he was in this.
I guess I'll skip to Psyops.
Oh, were you not on
Wasn't-
Psyops yet? Oh, no. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's fine. We'll
no,
do them in the order
sorry.
that you... Psyops. The crown jewel of military black ops, the Psyops unit are an elite team of psychic soldiers deployed against rogue militaries and supernatural threats. Officially, they don't exist. But when conventional warfare won't cut it and the stakes are no less than the fate of the world, Psyops answers the call. And this one's Psyops Shen. A psychic soldier and field lieutenant within PSYOPs, Shen's power is connected to a phantom child that follows him wherever he goes, granting him insight into the middens between the living and the dead. Where the boy came from, only High Command knows, and they aren't talking.
That's cool. I never looked at this splash before. I did not see that ghost child there
Yeah.
before.
Is it kind of taking the place of his blade in this one?
Yes.
Yeah, you want to see?
I've never seen it in game either, now that I think about it.
Nice.
I don't think I've ever seen anyone use the skin before.
Yeah. It's not like new either. Like the cinematic
That's
for
from
this. 2020.
Yeah,
this was the because there is a cinematic tied to it too. It's Operation Songbird, where Ezreal, Yi, Shen, and Vi break Sona out of captivity. We get action shots of pretty much everyone in this, or like an action kind of still almost. But Shen is just kind of chilling in his still. He's got his shield up, and he's just surrounded by fucking dead bodies. And also a fun fact about this one, his power level is listed in the computer as 10. In fact, all of the PSYOPs units are listed as 10, except for Ezreal. He's a 9.
I was
He's
trying
the
to
only
remember
one.
which one. I know there's one of them that's a 9 we memed on. Yeah, that's real.
Good old Ezreal.
By the way, on the wiki, PSYOPs is between Infernal and Shockblade, and that's why my eye had gone there.
You know what I think it is? I go in order on the wiki, but sometimes when you click on a picture, the tag that takes you to the AU, you can't, like, there's too many tags on it and it's not viewable, so then I have to manually search and I save those for last.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wondering why they were all
Peer
wonky
behind the veil.
sometimes.
What, you don't
so
just
next
know all
one-
this shit intrinsically? It's not just in your brain?
At this point.
Someday. Let's see. This is the last one, actually. It's a Fallen World. Many ages past, a great king waged a glorious war to break the shackles of magic on the world so mankind could forge its own destiny. Yet upon severing the final font of enchantment, the king was lost. The foundations of the world crumbled, and his once legendary knights were left alone to madness, ruin, and ash. This one is Ashen Guardian Shen. A devotee of the principles of his now slain leader, Shen still walks the castle grounds, wielding his master's blade alongside his own. Perhaps some small part of him recognizes, with each blow to his armor from travelers seeking ancient riches, that his guard is senseless. But life must have meaning, even life as endless as this.
Okay.
Those
Pretty
are the
cool.
AUs.
It's another
Pretty-
really new one. I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just from
Yeah.
March. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real new.
And I got a few fun facts.
Oh, yay.
You want them?
Yeah.
You want them?
Don't make me beg.
Everyone say yes, please.
So Shen means spirit, holy, or deity. It's kind of got a Mandarin base.
Nice.
Ionia considers twilight as a time when dark and light are in balance, hence why Eye of the Twilight has the sacred duty of watching the stars, exercising judgment untainted by prejudice. That's where it got its fun name.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It is fun.
Yeah. Shen is between 33 and 35 years old currently. He was the same age as present-day Akali, or about 19 years old when he first caught Shen.
Jin.
Jin. He didn't catch himself. He caught himself
God,
slipping.
So old. Shen's referred to as like old man a lot. He's like ancient. He's
Right?
fucking my age. Shut up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought for sure he was like in his 40s.
Yeah, right.
At least.
Yeah. Make him 44, right? Come on.
Right.
Do us a
Howard.
solid.
Come on. And then in 10 years, I'll be like, he's only 44.
Right. Make him 60, Ryan.
Yeah, come on. I'm still baby.
Please.
Please, why I'm still baby. With my wine.
Shen was the first champion to use energy as a resource. And Shen has never revealed his full face in any skin. Now, obviously, we get to see his full face all the fucking time in the comic. He's just maskless the whole time. But in skins, only Pulsefire even reveals the top half of his head.
Yeah.
Typically, it's all blocked, but in the other one, he's rocking that Kakashi mask, so...
You have to for, like, visually, you know?
He needs to look like a ninja, you know?
Well, no, he needs to look like Shen, no matter what skin he's wearing.
I mean, you know, there's some other ones. I feel like there was a time when that was a really big deal. I mean, shit, they used to sell helmetless Kale as a skin once upon a time, right?
True.
That's true.
But, like, now it's like, whatever. We see so many people without their shit on their face or whatever, you know?
Get the shit off his face,
Get that
Riot.
shit off his fucking... Yeah.
Or back to shit with Shen.
I'm trying to think if we see a Kali's face before the cinematic.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I have to look into it. We weren't looking that carefully back then. It was like
No.
17 years ago at this point.
Right?
We were so young.
Feels like it, man.
Let's see. Shen's dance is just it references the Tai Chi 24 form. God, that's another like old thing. Like
Tai Chi is
Shen's
pretty
so
old,
he's
yeah.
doing Tai Chi.
Oh, like that's what old
He's the
people-
person in the park.
Sweat.
It's a very LA thing, I feel like, right? I feel
love
like
that.
particularly on the old Riot, like in the old Riot
Oh, yeah.
office,
At
there was
the-
like a group of old people who did Tai Chi like a couple times a week.
Yeah,
somewhere
you'd
around
see him
there.
out in the courtyard a lot.
Yeah, in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shen, Pantheon, and Twisted Fate were the first to have a global range teleport ability.
Back when Twisted Fate had a
Yeah.
global, and it was just one of his regular abilities.
Fuck me.
Both the other two have since lost theirs. Neither of them are global anymore. And then Rek'Sai got a global one, and then they took that away too.
Yeah.
So it's still just Shen now. Man, remember when that used to be her old alt?
Oh, the old farm
She could
alarm.
just-
Yeah. The farm. I forgot about that being her ult. Damn. Oh, that was cool though.
It was pretty intimidating. I wish they could have found a way to keep that.
To at least keep
Global
the,
growl
the
in the-
global scream. Yeah.
And then finally, Shen used to gain the Law of Inverse Ninja Strength cosmetic Easter egg debuff, which says this unit is a flippin' ninja. And ninjas are more effective when they work alone. So for every ninja on your team beyond yourself, you lose 1 health. So yeah, whenever he, Akali, Kennen, and or Zed were on the same team, they would lose health based on the number of ninjas that were with them.
Yeah.
And also a little personal fun fact about Shen. He was the first ninja that I played. I'm like whenever I play video games, I kind of like look for the ninja character. Those are usually my favorite. And Shen was the first one who was on free rotation because I certainly wasn't paying money for champions. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to try this. Guy's a fucking ninja. Most disappointing
Doesn't feel like a
gameplay
ninja at
experience of my fucking life.
Yeah.
Did not have ninja vibes at all. Was very disappointed. Why I was so happy when Kennen came on free rotation. And I was like, we're getting closer. And I feel like of all of them, Akali's the true one, but she
Yeah.
wasn't on free rotation. But now I love her too.
I mean,
As a tank specifically.
Yeah, as a tank, obviously. Like you're supposed to play ninjas.
right. I mean, Shen set the standard, right?
I think he and Singed, I think, were very early examples of the exact opposite of what Riot tries to accomplish in visual clarity. I think they've talked about it since then too, where like they really try to make it so when you look at a champion, you can kind of get a feel for like how they're gonna play and like what type of archetype they could fill. And the fact that Shen and Zed were both fairly scrawny at the time. Singed, yes. What did I say?
Zed.
Zed. Oh my god.
It's been a long episode, folks. We've said Shen about 1,000 times this episode.
Right. Shen and Singed were both like very scrawny, but they were both tanks. It was very counterintuitive.
Yeah. I remember them giving. I like you said. I remember Shen being the example for that. Like, and Rammus kind of being the polar opposite, where it's like Rammus does what he says on the fucking tin. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Well, that was Shen.
That was Shen.
Yeah. How we feeling?
I think if they rewrote all his stories to bring his personality closer to comic Shen, he'd be pretty cool, I think. As of now, we have like 4 different versions of Shen, some of which are cooler than others, none of which are as cool as the comic book version. It's like the most realistic and also kind of badass. So, I mean, just move them all to that.
I think that or going really hard on just stealing The Witcher. Just do The Witcher and just with Shen, just steal it. You know, fuck it.
It's fine. I mean, The Witcher probably stole things from other fantasy stuff too. It's fine. We're all just...
We're all
it's an
just
homage.
thieves. Exactly, homage. Yeah, let's do a nice homage. Like, that's another direction that I think if they went full force into it, it's like, yeah, that could be perfectly fine. Like, a vehicle for ghost story, demon story shit in Ionia.
That would be fun. I would like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to add also...
God, is that kind of what Yone's doing? I guess we'll figure out when we get closer to
you're
Yone.
right.
Yeah, you're probably right. Well, it should have been
We'll
Shen.
find out.
Fuck.
We'll find out in 3 years when we get past the S's.
It's gonna be here sooner than we think.
Yeah. I was going to say his voice actor is credited as Keith Silverstein, who has a billion credits in just fucking anything you can imagine. Guy does
I couldn't
work.
find that.
So
Good get.
Yep.
All right. Well, that was Shen. Thank you so much for listening. We have a Twitter, it's @loreheads, and a Twitch, twitch.tv/loreheads. John streams there on Saturdays. He does TFT and ARAMs with viewers, and then I or John try to get on Monday. I'm probably not going to play with viewers, just random ARAMs with friends or norms with friends or other games. We're not sure yet. We have a YouTube as well. We post clips and unedited versions of the videos of these episodes. So if you want to see me drop my Oreo and pout very sadly, you could watch it there. We have a Discord if you want to join in on some lore discussions. Please do. And we have a Patreon. Thank you so much to all of our patrons.
But a very special thank you to our Medarda tier patrons: Big Man Gnomes, Chloe Things, King of Hearts, Kiss Me Mark, Shupa Mustache, Techno Robert, The Gooch Slammer, and Trideca. If anything happened to you, I would forsake my role as the Eye of the Twilight, and I would get vengeance for you. Don't worry.
That's beautiful.
Good.
Thanks.
Good.
You fucking better.
I feel like on the Discord, people are calling for accountability and saying that I have to do the things that I said. So this gives me the ability. So like, they can't because they'll be dead at the time. So they won't be able to see if I...
So from now on, all of the things you do for the Medarda tier patrons, they have to die first.
Yeah.
That fine print really gets you, huh?
We're going to have no Medarda tier patrons next week. But please be sure to tune in anyway, because we're going to talk about the half-dragon Shyvana.